Welcome to the WoodsTalk podcast. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why. I never want to hear you say, "Guess that way." The fuck? Welcome everybody to the WoodsTalk podcast. You're most welcome. It is yet another clan meeting with myself, comedian and budget lesbian Rory Woods. You're very welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's a pleasure to be in your ears and your eyes. You know. Yet another clan meeting, getting stuck in, which isn't a phrase at all. We're getting stuck in here, so we are as fuck. We are. I'm recording at a different time than what I'm used to today, so hopefully the setup is suffice, in terms of the audio and video quality, because as of last night, I assumed I was going to long story short record this later on today, which is Wednesday, the something of August, the 19th of August. Eat my hole and call me Deirdre, because here, where the fuck did the summer go? Hey, you got a lot of that good days weather there during that fucking lockdown, but sure, nobody could do fuck all. You know what I'm saying? Nobody could do anything, so they couldn't. Aye, sure, the weather was good, you could go out and walk, as if you can't walk about in the rain, but we've got the good weather now, and it's good to see it. I have a sunburnt the fucking ball bag. I have to dangle it in front of the freezer just to get any sort of life out of it, because the missus is looking bucked, and I'm the man to provide the service now a good solid 3 minutes, and that's including me, rubbing my Smithwick's on it. I'll Smithwick's dick. What was I saying there? Don't even know. But here's the thing, we're back. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I am feeling good. I'm back at my wee runs and all, mate, so I'm doing wee runs, couple of hit sessions on last days, so feeling alright. Not eating as many takeaways, getting a bit more veg, a bit more fibre in the oil diet, so I'm shouting like a human being again, which is always a plus. When you can shout and not make a noise out of your mouth, that's a good sign, in terms of progression. When you don't sound like a tennis player when you're having a dump, like a zombie playing tennis. A zombie tennis. That's enough. I don't know if that was a zombie having a dump, or indeed just someone from Belfast who was short of breath. Guys, I need a guys jambon and guys 19 and gravy rings. And do you want anything, Sharon? Just a sparkling water for Sharon, please. Because she stays in good nick during her marriage, and I don't fucking bother my hole. I've got a gut the size of fucking Constantinople. Constantinopples. You see my nipples? They're like, what do you call that fucking shite in a pizza? Pepperoni? Oh, Jesus. They're like that if they were indeed the size of the full pizza. But peelers. You know what I'm saying? So, hope things are good, people. I've, been just fittering about since we were last speaking. Is fittering a registered word in the dictionary? I don't know. Just having a wee fitter, Excuse me, would you like any help looking for clothes? Just having a wee fitter, Do you want buck glove? No, I just have a wee fitter myself, Double click my mouth, my pulse, my haddock handbag. And here's the thing. What have I been up to, people? Since we last spoke? Because it's weird sometimes. It feels like ages since I've done a podcast, and then it feels like minutes. Sometimes it's very fucking weird. Hobbies / pastime / second job. Let's face it, to have very unusual. But anyway, I have no idea how I've started here, but we're nearly 5 minutes in, so let's eat some collective whole. Let's get the clan meeting started. What have I been up to? Rewatching The Fall on the Netflix. The Fall, starring Jimmy Dornan and Gillian Anderson from the X Files. Even though the X Files does sound like a current reality TV show, the X Files. Where they surprise all these fucking trouts with their exes. There's so many of them shows. There's all these, and they always feel like the people that probably just didn't make the grade for Made in Chelsea, The Only Way Is Essex, Geordie Shore, all that fucking vibe. All these ones are basically just fucking fake tan with genitals, basically. The ones that are like, yeah, I suck your fucking dick. Kiss that fucking dick right now. I suck it clean off. Like a fucking eel, you get the market. Get out of my chuff. And yeah, the X Files. That's definitely, because there's so many of them shows. It just seem to be like, let's put all these fucking idiots who have got, if they didn't buck frequently, would have no personality whatsoever. If they didn't just go, yeah, I could fucking bust in that, then yeah, they wouldn't be anywhere. But all these Z-list fucking people who will eventually end up just doing rural tours of nightclubs around, it's great to be here in Cookstown. Fucking get sausages, get fucking jugs as well. Get your fucking jugs, you mug. Eat my fucking bowl bag. Charlie Bronson is, It's always some fucking her from Geordie Shore. It's great to be here in Dungannon, innit? It's a fucking great club. Seeing you've got a Lidl as well. Very handy if you want to get cookies, a chainsaw and a bottle of Prosecco in the one fucking go. Go! Go! And I don't even know what they... I've never been, but I don't know what they do. Just take photos of people. Yeah, you see me shaving my scrotal region on telly. Yeah. Oh, smooth scrot McGee. Fuck's sake, man. The X-Files. All those shows, just all these people like that do rural nightclub tours, put them in a situation, and then the X shows up, and they're like, oh my god, I used to fucking gaggle his fucking nuts in my mouth. He once licked my arsehole in Marbella. And I tell you what, he was doing the alphabet, and he doesn't even know the alphabet. That's the ironic thing. You'd think the tongue technique would be flawless if you knew the alphabet. A, B, C, right round my beef bagel. And I'm back into the redneck again. And I just want to do a show where they're like, because it's always like all these people, they're put on a beach, they're put in like a luxury suite. I'm just going, why not put them in a fucking, a spam factory? Get them in the spam factory, get them working, get them contributing to the nation's overall, GDP. Get them on the spam factory. Oh my god, he's so pink. That looks like my fanny. Yeah, I want to go to Topshop. Fuck's sake, man. The X-Files. So maybe we could do a show, The X-Files, which is a combination of reality TV as it currently stands in the world and the old science fiction TV show that was indeed The X-Files. So maybe that they what do? Get them all in somewhere in the middle of the woods, and then their respective exes have to dress up like aliens and try and anally probe them, which I'm sure after a lock at Archer's Aqua would be fucking simple. You know what I mean? Charlize, you want to see my bumhole? Yeah. If you look at it at the right angle, you can look up and up through my mouth like a fucking submarine. If you put your ear close enough to my arsehole, you can hear the fucking sea. The waves in my hole. So long story short, rewatching The Fall. I've seen it before, but again made that classic mistake of binging the show. I think I was using an illegal website, like a streaming website. I don't mean just fucking, ISIS Live. You know what I mean? Yeah, watch it. So obviously, when you binge something, you do enjoy it, but you retain fuck all from the whole thing. So yeah, was it nice to watch it again? Is it a fucking masterpiece? Not really, to be honest. For every good performance in The Fall, there's about 13 that make you want to just rip your hair out. And again, it's just, it's hard to to appreciate it, because I know that The Fall went to American Netflix before it came to the UK Netflix. And which again, by the way, if you're paying for Netflix, it shouldn't vary by region. You look at the American Netflix, all fucking great shit, stuff that's been out. You see, they get like stuff that was in the cinema 2 months ago, but the good shit. You know what I mean? There's certain films that do so bad at the cinema, they go to streaming services very quickly, whether it's Amazon or Netflix or whatever. And it's like maybe 2 weeks after you saw Inception, it would be on the fucking UK or the USA Netflix. And then you go to UK Netflix. We've got Fast and Furious 17. We're in the Antarctic and we're running from polar bears driving Seat Leons, and Vin Diesel's gonna drop kick a fucking walrus. I hate those films, man. Just the worst bunch of films. Sorry to any fans of those films listening to this, but the big man can't abide it. Just basically steroids and spare wheels. That's the steroids and spare wheels franchise. Load of bollocks. But yeah, in terms of like, you're paying for Netflix, but they just go, well, actually on the American Netflix now has all the Harry Potters, and you're like, why the fuck do we not have that? If you go on the Icelandic Netflix, you can get all seasons of fucking One Foot in the Grave. Have you checked out the Guatemalan Netflix? Here, it's fucking lit. They have the last Iron Maiden tour. The closing night of the concert. They have that. They also have all episodes of Some Others Do Have 'Em, and the new stand-up special by fucking Louis C.K., which I doubt, even though he is Mexican, I believe. Which is fuck all to do with anything. But here's the thing: Big Papa don't care. Big Papa don't care. I ain't losing sleep. So, yeah, The Fall holds up all right. It's not a masterpiece. Is it watchable? Yes. Am I being a bit harsh? Because as I say, it was big in America, so maybe from their perspective, they probably enjoy it. But for me, as someone who's lived in Belfast at least a decade now, some of the realism is lost on me, really. First and foremost, if you rewatch The Fall, the least believable thing about it, and apologies, but for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's Jamie Dornan plays a serial killer. Gillian Anderson flew over from London to head up a sort of task force to catch him. And there's obviously a lot like more dark shit going on. But this is a comedy podcast, so if you're looking at dark shit, go on the fucking dark web podcasts and get all that shit. But like, welcome back to the ISIS podcast, episode 39. The secret to beheading. Sharpen the knife. Don't use a pizza cutter, Derek, you fucking idiot. Yeah, but I think there's someone lost in the that's just me messing about there. That wasn't a wee perp. I'll tell you if it was. What the fuck was my point? Yeah, so The Fall, it's weird because as someone who's lived in Belfast, I say some of the realism is lost on me. The biggest example is a lot of the episodes show Jamie Dornan stalking his prey, which is usually a young professional woman, and then scopes out their gaff and then breaks into the gaff, kills them and does weird shit. And you just look as someone who has lived in Belfast for a decade and go, how the fuck? That's some decent housing. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a sign of age, because when I watched it a few years ago, I was just like, man, Jamie Dornan's running past Botanic. There's a bedroom there, man. Man, there's a bedroom there. You can get a bedroom in there, man. Get a bedroom in there, man. Man, there's a bedroom there. Get fucking double meat, man. We just get the loan in, man. Man, here, man. Get a bedroom there, man. Chip cool, man. Those young ones. Chip cool, man. Man, there's chip cool, isn't there, man? Man, check out the chip cool. What do you get? Chips. So it is. Man, get the fucking... You're going Maggie Mays. Bumper fry, £6 all day. All day. You going in fucking 11 o'clock at night. Man. Still fucking safe. Still serving, man. Man. Bedroom, man. Man, I booked there, man. I seen that, man. I pressed against that building, man. And now you see Jimmy Dornan run past him, man. Madness. Whereas now I'm just kind of like seeing Jamie Dornan beat the fuck out of women basically, and strangle them with a pair of long johns or something like that. And I'm just going, those curtains are fully lined in that house. Oh my word. Here, she's got an Aga cooker. How the fuck is she? He stalked her. She works as a fucking admin assistant in in a Santander. She's got an Aga cooker. They're about 3.5 grand. What the here? What the fuck? You know, you just end up appreciating. See, that's where it's lost on me, because as someone who will be moving in July next year to somewhere I've rented or bought, you know, the standard of house is very deceptive in that show. Everybody in the fall's got these fucking class setups, and you're just like, man, most houses I live in, you move in, you open the cupboard to put on all your plates and glasses, cupboard door comes off. You know, you have to fill the kettle with water and place it against the oven door to keep the oven door closed. All true shit that we had to do. You know, you just look at these houses and fall and go, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? If she dies, can I move in there? You know, I suppose that's just the difference now watching it as a 30-year-old, you know, wank stain like me, because that's the way it is. But it's weird. You know, I can understand that the Americans don't really see past the plot, really, whereas I do. When you're just like, it's supposed to be a really tense scene, and you can just see like wine flare of some real dinky off license. Deggy's discount fucking Smithwick's bar. You know what I mean? It's dandering about, and particularly even obviously the you know, it's not like Line of Duty where it's obviously filmed in Belfast as well. I don't actually know if they ever say it's set in Belfast, Line of Duty. Could be wrong. But, you know, because this is set in Belfast, it means that they use a lot of, like, street names and stuff like that there and places of interest. And it's just weird. Like, there's a bit in one of the episodes where they're pretty much copping on that Jamie Dornan's character is the fella that they've been searching for. The first couple of episodes are basically, you know, there's a string of what are seemingly random murders. And it's Gillian Anderson's character who sort of goes, I think this is the same her doing it. You know, there's a bit of a pattern arising here. They investigate more and more. They realise they're looking for a male, blah, 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 blah. They're sort of narrowing it down to the fact that it is Jamie Dornan's character, Paul Spector, is the person, the culprit responsible for these heinous crimes. So there's a point where, let's see if I explain this right, that they speak to Spector's wife, and she details that her and Paul were out with friends of theirs on like a double date in a bar in Belfast. And you know, then it comes to light then that one of the people that Paul had murdered was actually there that night as well. So when the police twig on this, there's a really weird the guy who's in Guardians of the Galaxy, I think he's in Hollyoaks as well, he says, coincidentally enough, the night that Paul Spector and his wife were out having a few beverages with another couple, Sarah Kay, the third victim, was also in that bar. That bar being the Malmaison bar. Do you know what I mean? I've been to Malmaison. It's like obviously a hotel, but it's just like the way they make it sound like, you know, really like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so weird. Like, yes, they were both in Thompson's rooming at the time of the murder. They were both having a casual boke out, and they were both on a booze bike going around Fountain Street, passing the Cuban Sandwich Factory, Voodoo and Primark at the time of the assault. They were both getting a complimentary pretzel from Castle Court when the rape was happening. You know, I think so. These tense scenes, these revelations about, you know, the crimes and how the police are basically solving them, it's somewhat lost to me when they're like, the assailant is at Victoria Square. The assailant is at Victoria Square. And like, the the guy has just raped a woman and then went into Hollister to get financially raped now. Sun is shining. Yeah. It's so weird, the fall, because it's obviously very, very dark. And the more you learn about Paul Spector, particularly, and his sort of attitudes, it does get very dark. And then there's just these weird moments, and obviously they've been written to go, here's a bit of comic relief, but it doesn't seem to fit. Like, there's a lot of like heinous shit going on. And then that one guy who copped on about the Malmaison, he's like always late, and he's like always eating when Gillian Anderson needs him to do something. I'm like, it just seems very out of place. That she's like, will you go to the morgue and see if Susanna's fanny is intact after the fucking magging or whatever. It's a weird mugging to have your fanny attacked, but you know, people like shit. You know what I mean? But he's sitting there like, he's like halfway through your Greg's and his mouth stuff, and he's like, yes, no bother. I'll get stuck. I'm on my break. You can't. You know, there needs to be from rewatching the film, there just needs to be a bit of Belfast dubbing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, obviously it's Paul and Stella are pretty much at each other's throats. Gillian Anderson's character is called Stella. There's a bit where they phone each other. It would have been great for him to go, "You'll never catch me, Stella. So you won't." I've got many more victims at my car. Yeah, I have another victim. I'm scoping her out right now. So I am. You'll never catch me. So you won't. Here's me. What? Get the fuck, Stella. Stop following me, you creepy old trout. Here. I'm not taking no more shite, so I'm not. You'll have to go up the mono bypass to catch me. You know. 5 letters for £1. The Fall, starring Jamie Dornan and the bird from the X-Files. You know, it is good, don't get me wrong, but I think just being like living in Belfast and having obviously it's set there, it's just kind of weird. You know what I mean? When they're like, you know, the killer has been apprehended at Pug Uglies. He was also getting a pulled pork bap. Let's go get bush. Let's get steaming. Let's get car. Bag of cars, man. Man, get to bed. Does my fucking children on that lady. What have I been doing? Watching The Fall. Listening to the new Biffy record. A Celebration of Endings is out now. Very, very fucking good. Wasn't too keen on a couple of the singles before the album was released, but sometimes that's the way. You know, same with the last Biffy record, Ellipsis. You hear a couple of singles and you're like, it's not really grabbed me by the ballocks. But again, sometimes you need to listen to the album as it's intended. You know? And I've listened to that record now a few times, and it's very, very good. I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, just a band that seems to get better and better for me. Must get the vinyl of that, actually. Obviously, today's vinyl of choice for the WoodsTalk podcast is The Physical World, the second record by Death from Above 1979. Tremendous two-piece, who I seen in the Limelight, and they were great. So do check them out. If you're a fan of like slightly heavier Black Keys sort of vibe, Death from Above are certainly a valid band to listen to. Yeah, so check out the new Biffy album if you haven't had a chance. They're just one of those bands I feel just, not that each album keeps getting better, but I feel they do get more refined. I've said this in various podcasts, but I'm not like a Biffy purist. The sort of first half of their discography is fine. Bits of it I actively don't like. I'm very much a puzzle onwards sort of vibe. A lot of people are like, no man, since the fucking puzzle, they've got too mainstream, man, they've sold out. What about the early stuff where they were just squealing and not really playing notes or drums or anything? You're like, not really my bag, bro, to be honest. But yeah, so it's a good wee record. And particularly during like the sort of post-lockdown sort of vibes, you know, I exhausted myself with music, honestly, where I was just listening to everything from White Zombie, Van Halen, Stevie Wonder, Biffy, Busted, Deftones, Enter Shikari, Enrique Iglesias, Angels and Airwaves, Pantera, Queens of the Stone Age, Queen, Rage, Take That, Thrice, Zebrahead. Then you just get to the point where like, man, I can't behold. And so I was welcoming a new record by anybody. You know, it could have been the new fucking Chico album. I'll be like, here is Chico time. The fuck? Chico time, sure it is. Chico will also probably be in nightclubs, you know what I mean? With a plastic cup of Rockshore. I'm having a freaking great time. Yeah, I'm dead behind the eyes, but and my soul is dead. But yeah, it's Chico time. When he's 80, people are like, Say it, bro. Say it, come on. I don't do that stuff anymore. You know, that is a different part of my life. That is when I was a lot younger. You know, since then I've become a chartered surveyor. Say it, man. Man, say it, man. Say it, man. So this here's me, man. It's to go time. Yes, lad. Let's get a Greg's to fuck. Yeah, so what's been happening in the world? I read something that a brothel has had to close down because of coronavirus outbreak. A brothel has had to close down. And I have a feeling, you know, the brothels get a lot of married men in there. Let's face it. Not myself, obviously. But a lot of married men. So, because the brothels now been closed due to coronavirus, so they've had to do the same protocol as if it had been Lipsy Dress or a Burger King. It doesn't really matter. So they've always had to contact all members of staff, all patrons of the brothel. You know, the fucking what would I call a brothel? If I open a brothel, Blurt's Jazz Bar. Let me Gwen Stefani's. Whole Edmonds, you know what I mean? Let me think. 10-pin holing. There you go. Sign on the hole instead of the dole, whatever. But yeah, so this brothel as a staff member, whoever's doing HR or the guttering. I mean, legit guttering, by the way. I don't mean is giving her a good gutter in there, you know what I'm saying, you know, with a knob and bag. Yeah, so someone contracted coronavirus in this brothel. They've had to close it down. They've had to contact everybody who's been involved. And dare I say, there's a poor married man who has contracted coronavirus, and obviously because it's so serious and you can't really hide it, this man has had to say to his wife, "Here, Gemma, I have coronavirus. So you know, you're going to have to get tested. We're going to have to isolate. We're going to have to get the kids sorted, take them out of school, let the school know, and we're going to have to begin the self-isolation process. We're going to be like Steve McQueen at the end of The Great Escape." And yeah, coronavirus, that's me, done. And initially the wife's going to be like, "Oh my God, this is so scary. I mean, thank you for telling me. But yes, we're going to have to get wheels in motion here because the safety of ourselves and our family and our kids are of the utmost importance." And then she sees on the news, brothel closed down due to coronavirus outbreak. Like, you dirty fucking bastard! Here, you fucking bucking someone else. This piece of gammon is yours. You know, why have Denny's Wafo ham when you've got gammon in the house? This is slow cooked over time for you, motherfucker. I pump out your wains. You know, go halfers on the mortgage. Get you a fucking Indian when you get, you know what I mean, when you get a promotion at work, you know, fucking, you know, give you a beige and, you know, suck your ballocks, even though I don't even like sucking your ballocks because it tastes like a combination of parmesan and fucking cloves. You fucking dirty cunt, cheating on me. Fucking wife of the year here. Fucking get my arsehole bleached just for you. Be the big spoon and everything, and now you're fucking bucking someone else. You're paying for them to it. I'll raise you for free, you stupid cunt. Going to this fucking brothel, you dirty bastard. Oh, imagine being that guy and being contacted by the brothel. You know what I mean? Which again, I don't even know how, because I don't really think you have to leave your contact details. It's not as if you sign up to a brothel. If anything, discretion is usually the priority, isn't it? So you go in there. It's not as if like you leave your name and number. But somehow they must have got in contact with him and be like, "Hi, would this be Derek Dirty Dick Doherty?" That's what we'll call him. Derek Dirty Dick. Hi, speaking. Hi, how's things? Keeping alright? Yes, this is actually the Muffin Hole brothel here at from Craigavon. Yeah, we believe he visited our premises there a couple of days ago. No, that wasn't me. No. We have you in CCTV dressed as He-Man getting fucked by Skeletor. Oh, that might have been me. I have the power. Yes, well, basically, we regret to inform you that one of our staff members has contracted, and I guarantee before they even said coronavirus, how many other things went through his head before they said coronavirus? Because when in that industry, if you find out that someone you've read, some prostitute you've been with, has contracted something, coronavirus isn't the first fucking thing you think of. You're like all the herp, AIDS, hepatitis, gonorrhea, fuck the shingles. Athletes do it. I don't even know what the fuck coronavirus. Like, shit. You know what I mean? Because at least like any other STDs, minor ones anyway, you could probably under the table get that sorted. No one fucking know any better. So I shout out to that brothel for taking it seriously, closing down. There's going to be a lot of creepy politicians and SDLP people and fucking MLAs that won't get any hole for a while. I'll tell you what, it's surprising that, because I don't know, maybe high-end brothels they've probably always had hand sanitizer. Will you be fisting this evening? Okay, well, it's an extra £30, and will you dip your fists in bleach there, please? Thank you very much. Now, when you are fisting the person, don't go too hard too fast. This isn't like the start of Saving Private Ryan. This is it's a marathon, not a sprint, basically. Now, I do appreciate that everyone's arsehole is sensitive, so go in with a little bit of caution, please. And yes, that's 30 quid. For an extra 30 quid, you can fist. Which I know financially makes sense, but whatever. So yeah, the brothel's away. Fuck me. We've got coronavirus in here. Sure, gives 10 minutes and I'll be out. Coronavirus. Yeah, so that's some mad shit. So between a lot of dark stuff in this podcast, between the fall and the concept of a cheating coronavirus ridden man, not dark, but certainly not very mainstream. Anybody listening to this right now, and in their car with the kids, it's probably turned it off by now. Let's face it. What else have we been up to? I was reading that thing about Russell Howard. Stormed off stage at a very recent socially distanced gig because a dickhead was filming him the entire time. It was billed as a work in progress show. It's like a $5 in, and it was Russell Howard, who's obviously more than famous, and for a $5 to get him to see work out some stuff, that's pretty cool. That had been cool pre-COVID, but now that there's not a lot of options for people to be able to go, well, for a $5 we can see fucking Russell Howard and hear some of the new stuff before he ends up on tour again, because fuck knows when that's going to be. So they socially distance, they get a proper setup, they get a wee thing, all the seats laid out, blah blah, hand sanitizer, and then it turns out within minutes of Russell taking the stage, this woman's just sitting there with a phone just up, filming him, so much so that he wasn't a dickhead straight away, where he was like, look, just live in the moment and appreciate what's happening now, which is a more prevalent message post lockdown. Live your life, and you don't need to be filming this. And to be fair, this is work in progress. I don't know if half these fucking jokes are going to work. I don't know what the general consensus is going to be. Some of these could be great jokes, some could be shite, some could be brilliant, some will get rounds of applause, some will get fuck all. Hence why it's a work in progress show. And apparently she just kept her lit, and he sort of ended the set abruptly and was fuming, and rightly so. Apparently her argument when Russell sort of basically challenged her on, was she's like, I'm just taking a photo. Apparently all the members of the audience, to their credit, did say, are you you're fucking filming the whole bastard thing. So fair play, she must have been doing it the acts before as well. Just don't be that person that films the whole gig. Have a photo for your own memes, stick it up on the Insta, but don't be like your entire Insta story be the fucking entire set for anybody, let alone a comedian trying to work out material. Fucking load of bollocks. But again, not everybody is dead on, people. That's the long and short of it, really. Unfortunately, not everybody's got the capacity to be sound, which I feel is an invaluable skill. I don't give a fuck if you can bleed a radiator, you can do crochet, you can backflip, you can do the splits. I don't give. See, being dead on is a skill that takes a lot of refinement and gets you further than any other thing in life. How many jobs have you got because you're dead on? You know, because most of the time you could be qualified for a job, go in and do an interview, and they just don't like your vibe. Just going, well, like, you'd probably do the job well, but could you work with him 9 to 5, Monday to Friday? Couldn't listen to him, fucking creepy hair. You know, being dead on is invaluable. So unfortunately, people will be, even now, when gigs are so few and far between, we're lucky to be having anything, and you still have cunts ruining it. You know, which is fucking brutal. Absolutely brutal, I have to say. So fair play to Russell for bouncing off, because at the end of the day, you know, if he, you know, it probably would have been worse for him if he had carried on. I don't know what the cracks with the venue or the promoter. I mean, I don't know if she was challenged or told, you know, turn off the phone, bro, or was there something at the start of the show that, you know, should have detailed, you know, phones off. But again, that's general etiquette, that's general manners, and she didn't bother her fucking flappy gargantuan puss, did he? Fuck all. So I don't know, man. Fuck, unfortunate. For show. Unfortunate, man. Just filming, man. I got a camera on my phone, man. So what else have I been up to? I watched that Project Power on Netflix with Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and a load of people I've never heard of. But it seems to be quite divisive. I actually quite liked it, to be honest. I thought it was quite good. But maybe it's good as a weekend half asleep film. You know, maybe. You see, I think that's an important thing going in with the vibe. There's certain films, if you want to sit down and pay attention, you go for it. You watch, you know, Memento, Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan. You get stuck in because again, you know, you want something that's like, you know, worthy of your attention span and do it. Sometimes you just want to get a chippy, deck a rock shore, and just be able to watch something but not have to fucking pay attention. I've said this a million times, I know, but I feel strongly that you should be able to just go and get in the Chinese and watching Demolition Man. I could be sleeping for 20 minutes in the middle, but it doesn't matter because I'm living my life to the fullest, you know. Yeah, I quite like Project Power, I have to say. Maybe it's just it was a good, yeah, maybe it was a good chill film. You know, you don't have to really overly think. Jamie Foxx is in it, and sure, who doesn't love Jamie Foxx, man? I got a lot of shit from my mates because I actively prefer Jamie Foxx to Will Smith. I'm not really a big Will Smith guy. Men in Black, shite, all them. Independence Day can fuck off. The Pursuit of Happiness, shite. Hancock starts alright, gets shite. I Am Legend, didn't like. Quite good in the Suicide Squad, that's probably about it. And Jamie Foxx, man, envious of that guy, the talent that he has. Does stand up, a lot of people don't know that. Does stand up. A couple of his specials are on YouTube in full. Lethal. He was in Living Colour, which was like a sketch show with the Wayans brothers. Jim Carrey was on it as well. Very, very good in that. A couple of great characters. He can rap, he can sing, he can act. You know, he's got an Oscar for acting. And in fact, the year that Jamie Foxx won the Oscar for Ray, playing Ray Charles, mess around, everybody do mess around. He actually could have won 2 Oscars that year because he was also up for Best Supporting Actor for Collateral with Tom Cruise. Talent, pure talent. When he's on talk shows, murders. When he's on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, brilliant episode. There's nothing that man can't do. And good impressionist. Fucking good at all that shit, man. So maybe it's because I like him. I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So give it a shout for sure. I mean, don't let reviews put you off. Don't be the type that listens to Rotten Tomatoes. You know what I mean? Well, it's only got 25% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm not going to watch it because I have no independent thoughts, so I don't hate me, man. So I get on Project Power. I still feel like Netflix aren't really sort of consistently hitting the bar with Netflix movies, though. You know what I mean? There's always all these rare ones, but, you know, I haven't seen the one with Hemsworth. I think that's Netflix. You know, because obviously TV shows-wise, they've generally smashed it, you know, in terms of Stranger Things, Orange is the New Black, stuff like that. I think they own the rights now to like Better Call Saul and I think House of Cards was like a production. Excuse me for bringing up the Spacey. Old Kevin Spacey. He's a little creepy hair. That's the way it is. Sound like an old man there, just giving the old man a culty take on various news stories without really knowing what. Donald Trump, oh, he's a fucking idiot, and Barack Obama, fair play to him. Fair play to him. ISIS here, them boys need a smack around the head, and just going to chuck a raw purdy at him. Aye, so what else has been going on in my wee life, my wee married man life? Not much. I'm excited about this gig tonight that I have in the Hatfield. Got that sort of comedy nerves again, which I haven't experienced really since the last gig that I did in the General Banter office. So that's going to be good. I have to think of some material, but I'll be grand. What else have I been up to? I've been working quite closely on a new idea for WoodsTalk in general. And again, the podcast has been great. The response I get to it is generally very humbling, and I don't always have like the best looking videos and stuff like that there, which will be rectified, don't get me wrong, but I just feel as long as the content's alright, that's the best thing. But I've been working, I feel there's a good mix of stuff, or in pre-Patreon and on Patreon, we have the I played tracks by a lot of local artists in a lot of episodes, which I should be bringing back today actually, with the guys on the old t-shirt here, the String of Ninjas have sent me a few wee bits, so I should be able to figure out how to do that. I'll fire it on to the end of this year and fire it on the video for you guys. See, I've been playing a lot of local bands, and a lot of people seem to like it. I've played people like Petty Youth, the Bonnevilles, String Ninjas have been featured, Darren Doherty and the Haven Choir, Northern Light, Lauren Bird, the Valadiers have been on here. Who else have been on? HC Baby from Straban's been featured. Broken Bandits also from Straban. There's been a load of good things on here. Bastian, the boys from we got the Norfolk Pines. Lads from the Norfolk Pines have been involved, who listen regularly. And it's good to see, when people seem to like having the wee tune at the end. I enjoy playing them, and I was delighted to see The Kingdoms by Northern Light, which is an album, my favourite album of the year still. I played a few tracks from Kingdoms on this podcast. Darren Doherty, who's the lead singer, he also has solo stuff which has been played in this podcast. Darren Doherty was one of the guests on the Extra Branch podcast. Seen earlier this week, the NI Music Prize album shortlist, and Kingdoms is on there. So for anybody listening to this, listen to that record and tell me how it's not going to win. A lot of great shit, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's going to be a landslide, but for originality, Kingdoms has some brilliant stuff, and give it, I don't know how you go about voting for it, but check it out, give it a wee listen, get involved. So in that respect, I love the fact that the podcast is, I'm not saying that Kingdoms got a nomination because of the exposure I give it, but it helped. I like to think I contributed some, blowing my own trumpet there. So, as I say, there's always something to do in terms of, having your own podcast, and especially having it on Patreon, which is what I like about it. There's no real limit to how good you can get in terms of just podcasting generally. How you come across, what you talk about, but blah blah blah, your video production, audio production, your lighting, stuff like that. There's no real limit to that. You can always improve. So my next venture, which I've been working on for a while, was getting a proper logo. I've had a few since I started this, but nothing that I could have really comfortably put on merch. That was the main reason. I'm more than happy with the previous logos that I've used, but I just need something a bit more sort of merch friendly. So I've been collaborating with my sister Hannah, who has very recently started her own graphic design and sort of image custom creations, custom design business. If you want to look at Woods Design on Facebook, soon to be coming to the Instagram. We collaborated on getting the logo done for the podcast, and for all using Patreon, you'll have seen it already. I'm very happy with it. So dare I say, you'll see it at the end of this video. I'll just play it whilst the String Ninjas are playing. have the logo on the screen. So I'm delighted with that. And as I say, Hannah's got a wee Facebook page and all set up now, soon to come to Insta and all that. By Woods Design, and she's getting orders flat out, and delighted. Getting a lot of good reviews. So if you want to check that out, do Woods Design. I'll put the link to Woods Design's Facebook in the description for this. So I'm really happy with that. It's nice having a logo now, which means I can branch out into some merchandise for all you lovely members of the WooTalk clan, Patreon or otherwise. So I'm really excited about that. I have to say, and it was cool that, one thing I've always felt about this podcast is that, like, I want to get people that I know involved in a certain way. So in terms of, the Extra Branch series that I do for Patreon, I like to get guests on, and I've had a lot of mostly comedians, obviously, but then I've had Darren Doherty himself, fellow Strabanimal, on there, and I've had, maybe people who don't get on podcasts that often, Richard Jackson and Duncan Casey of Valverde Broadcasting, now both featured on the podcast. Both their audio is now public, and they were two really good chats about being self-employed, some background stuff on the film industry from a technical point. Obviously Duncan was able to talk about a lot of the getting started in acting, and have some sort of his take on what it's like to be an actor, pre, post, during lockdown, all that vibe. And then I've also got like actress Ruth Curran, he's been on this, and the music that you hear on this podcast at the start and at the end for any promo clips I put up, it's all Omar Benasine, aka Run the Earth Music, aka Sound Lad, aka fellow Strabanimal, who also listens to this, which is handy. So I'm liking the fact that a lot of the various factors of the podcast are from people that I know, people that are getting involved, people that do listen. So the fact that my logo was designed by my sister, any audio in terms of intros, outros, wee jingles will all be anything that Omar has sent me, aka Run to Earth Music, who are on my Instagram. Do check them out. So it's a cool vibe at the minute, I have to say. I'm lucky that I have so many people around me that are creative and that can contribute. So delighted for Hannah. I know we did do a lot of work on the logo, and synthesizing it down, because when you see it, the original plan was to make the lettering a lot bigger, but it looked like a big set of jabs or a big pointy set of Viking tits there at one point. So we had to do a bit of work there, and then Hannah was like, yeah, well, I'm going to start the page and stuff. And I hope she probably won't mind me saying, but she was very apprehensive about it, because she's like, you're putting yourself out there and you don't want to have a page and have like 6 likes, you know what I mean? But I think she's at a couple of hundred now. So do give it a like, give it a share. People go on there, see what you think. There's some cool stuff. But it's cool just having so many people, in my circle that are involved in the podcast now. It's fucking sweet to the beat, I have to say. What else? Got a wee list here. Probably fuck all else. I did read some fucking funky stories. Did I read that there was something about a guy shooting himself in the face or something like that? Bear with me. Why does your phone internet never work when you need it, day? So it was like, man shoots himself. Man shoots is a fucking weird thing to Google, because some of the suggested stuff is like man shoots protesters or wife or girlfriend. It's on like Unilad website or some shit. Will you hear this? I fucking love this, by the way. I'll do this wee story and then I'll get to the questions and I'll let you go up the rah. A gun enthusiast points pistol at his dick and shoots himself in the balls. Karma, right? A gun enthusiast accidentally shot himself in the balls after pointing a loaded pistol at his dick with the intention of sharing a picture of it on social media. Right, well, there's the fucking first thing. I talked about this last week, about the stupid stuff you see on TikTok and social media, going, I'm going to fucking stick my ball bag in a salt and like in a fucking deep fat fryer, for likes. For likes. Fuck up. Try to just find you write something funny, or just take a sweet photograph of your cortado and shush. Shush, man. Man, shush, man. It seems there are a number of Facebook groups out there on the World Wide Web dedicated to men taking pictures of loaded weapons pointed at their genitalia. Why, bro? Usually the gun doesn't go off and everyone walks away with their balls still intact. Happy days. That's a good day's work. Ballocks are intact. The big man's going to procreate. There's a video. So apparently it shared a photo after it of his naked legs and spattered blood on his carpet, alongside the caption, "Hey boys, I might have fucked up." Tile stuff between his legs and a printed copy. Oh jeez. Let's see if I can get this. Hopefully it'll play. It's probably ads or some shit. And I'll get to the questions. I'll fucking let yous go. Please don't go. Jesus. So he's obviously fucking edited that, so you don't actually hear the. I was hoping that we would get a bit of audio there, him going like, because shooting yourself in the bag, contrary to popular belief, is no banter, But yeah, again, that's just a stupid thing for likes, man. For fucking likes. I'm going to shoot myself in the bag. I'm going to just headbutt this curb. Speaking of, man, I rewatched American History X over the weekend there. For such a grim film, it's very watchable, I'd say. Let me see. You got a lack of questions, people, and I will let you go. Do the questions, then I'm going to fire on this the tune by the String Ninjas. I don't know if they've actually got a title for it. The lads listen to this, I'm not sure. But it's a wee medley of a few things you might have heard before. It's fucking swag. I'll fire it on to the end of this. Before we do the questions, I say, as always, thanks a million for fucking listening. Really fucking appreciate it. There's 1 million podcasts in the world. There's about 130 by comedians from Northern Ireland. And, I still have a lot of loyal people listening to mine. And I do fucking appreciate that. Merch will be rolling out soon. I've got a couple of cool different ideas. For any of you on the Patreon, you will get some treats, obviously. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, www.patreon.com/WoodsTalk. You won't regret it. It's just the one tier for now. It'll be a couple of years until I can get some really legitimate, maybe my fucking Ulster Hall, or dare I say it, SSE Arena show. That'll never happen. But, I'll be lucky to play fucking Voodoo. But, in terms of exclusive content, hopefully over the next few years, that'll get some traction. Sign up for the Patreon, get involved. Say we're on Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, as you're probably watching now. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, give me some reviews. Just supports the podcast, and it means you'll get more and more shit. Get my tremendous take on people shooting themselves in the ballocks and how to rewatch The Fall. So let's get the questions. Okay, this is say exclusive to the Patreons, the questions these days. Shout out to Naomi Mitchell, one of the newer patrons. What's happening, Naomi? You're having a dinner party and can invite any guest, dead or alive. Who would you call up? When you mean guest, you just mean, if I had to just have one person right here, right now, I'd probably go someone like Anthony Bourdain if I had to go for one person. If I had to go for a group of people, say I had to get 6 people, I would get Bourdain again, but I would get him to cook and then he can eat with us because he's like swag. Craig Ferguson, the former late night host, Eddie Murphy, Michael Keaton, Kurt Russell, and let's see, and nothing. I'd love to say someone like Chappelle, and I'm trying to go for a vibe. He'd be good. He's good crack, man. You need someone who's like a bit mad. I would get fucking Gillian Anderson in the fall. Rawr. You know what I mean? Delicious. But she seems like she'd be good fun too, man. Um, and if I were having dinner, it'd probably just be a lot of tacos or something like that. Although, I'd love to meet Eddie Murphy, but I don't know if he'd be the nicest fella. Not that he, like, I just think he's very sort of contained. Um, but I'd love to meet Keaton. Oh, Keaton. If you could relive one day from your childhood, which day would you pick? And that's from Charis Doak. I love one day from my childhood. Um, I mean, when I think about my childhood in general, if I wanted to go sort of more secondary school vibe, I wish like I could just relive even that time period when you were doing important exams and have the clarity to go, these aren't that important. Really, it's not the end of the world if these don't go your way. You have other options. In terms of my actual childhood, um, you know, a very decent sort of setup in childhood. But if I had to go back and relive one day, um, I'm trying to think. Very good question. You know, you have stumped me. Um, I would. Maybe something like my confirmation day was great crack. I was not overly religious dude, but it was just because you had all the fams there, and you like all that out and stuff. Maybe something like that, somewhere like all the fams are together. Because that's the grim thing about getting older. You realize that when all the family are together, it's for very extreme reasons. So to get all your fams and all your mates in the one room, it's either because someone's getting married, someone's like it's a christening, or something very very grim. You know what I mean? So, um, yeah, something like that. Just any sort of family do. I'll even put it that any sort of family do where I can sort of realize that, this won't be a common thing. You know what I mean? Something like that. Connor Austin, no to Rory. You better be answering these one by one. Okay. If you had a time machine, number one, would you travel into the future or to the past? I would go to the past. If you went back in time, what would be some of the events in history you'd like to witness? Historical figures you'd want to meet? Um, I would like to have been at Eddie Murphy's Delirious show in Washington. I would go to that. I would go to when this is a weird one. When the World Cup back in the day when I was in secondary school, remember Republic of Ireland were playing Germany and Robbie Keane equalised. This is when Germany had Oliver Kahn and nets and he was a fucking beast. I would go to that. I'll think of a few more. I would love to have been around for the Batman '89 premiere, just to go to the cinema to see it when it first came out. I would love to have been at Nirvana Unplugged. I think that would have been good. As per the name of the podcast, I'd love to have went to Woodstock. That would have been class. Love to have seen Queen maybe at Live Aid. That'd have been good. I'd love to have maybe seen some of the more bigger films in my life in the cinema as they came out. I'd love to be able to go to Blade Runner in the cinema and see the reaction of how fucking amazing it looked. Number three, if you went into the future, what changes, advancements from our time would you hope to see? All the best, Connor. Particularly now, like post lockdown, I would like to see. I'll just speak about maybe just Northern Ireland. I'd like to see, this is not feasible really, I'd like to see the whole Sunday opening hours thing completely done. Completely done. There's nothing more depressing than when I go out for a run early on a Sunday and there's tourists walking about Belfast and they've legit nothing to do. Some places are, you get the odd Cafe Nero and stuff that's open, you get to maybe the odd place at 11, but it's still like a ghost town. I'd like to see less that fucking Northern Irish attitude, and when I say that I mean the the just the inherent sort of dodgy vibe that are imparted on the young kids now, because I see a lot of them. The amount of kids I've seen at the Belfast bikes, which I think they're sponsored by Just Eat or something now, which is ironic, just kicking the fuck out of them and stealing them. That kind of sums up. It's like in Strabane, like for years everyone was Strabane. would vandalise the Christmas tree, and you're like, bro, do you know what I mean? A bit of fucking, common sense wouldn't fucking kill you. Let me think. I'd just like to see just a bit more tolerance and a bit more of a, a bit of sort of, just a bit of progression in terms of maybe a bit less of the religious authority, maybe be less prevalent. Thanks everybody for all your questions, much appreciated, and I will see you all next week. Here is the String Ninjas with a tremendous medley of tunes. I will see you next week. Have a tremendous weekend. Up the fucking Woodtown clan. What?